Hello and welcome to a new episode of Vedic Spirituality. My name is Madan Gopaldas, I'm your host, and today we will continue our discussion about the consciousness that we have started in the last video. So in the last video we said that the Vedic paradigm is that everything is based on consciousness and not on matter, and that this paradigm differs from the modern paradigm of everything is based on matter and not consciousness, if you know what I mean. So So we said that this body moves because of the presence of the soul, and the weather happens and the sun and sun rises because of the presence of a consciousness. So this is what we talked about in the last video. We talked in the last video. So today I want to go take this a bit to the next new level. And I'm reading you from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, chapter 10, text 8. Excuse me. And that is said, the individual person possessing different instruments of senses is called the adhyātmic person, and the individual controlling deity of the senses is called adhidaivic, and the embodiment which is seen on the eyeballs is called ādhibhautic person. So we have the adhidaivic principle here, then we have the adhyātmic principle here, that is the soul, and then the adhibhautic principle here. I will just write it out for you. This is adhidaivic. So this is, so to say, the gods, the higher consciousness, or the living beings that are entrusted with cosmic duties, so to say, the adhidaivics. And then we have here adhyātmic. So this is the individual living beings, that is you and me and the cats and dogs in the street and so on. Adhyātmic is here. And then we have the third one is adhibhautic. That is what we actually see. So if we, in terms of like modern paradigm and Vedic paradigm, the modern paradigm only is concerned with this one. They only consider the adhibhautic. So modern medical science, they only look at the body and nothing else. They only look at what they see, the chemicals that are interchanging, the cells and so on. What is possible to be seen by the senses, that is adhibhautic. And that is the modern science only is considering this. In the Vedic science, since we have our source of our knowledge is revelation, Shruti, which we receive through the listening process. So we're considering now also the adhidaivic principle and the adhyātmic principle. So what is it? So excuse me, I'll just pause for a while. Okay, sorry, there was a speaker announcement. So so there's one important verse in the Bhagavad Gita. I will put it in the description, so make sure you read it. It is saying that prakriti kriyamanane kunei kurmani sarvasyaha. So that says that ahankara vimudatma kartahamiti manyate. That everything in this world is done by prakriti, by the material nature, through the three modes of material nature, and that if we are bewildered by the false ego, that we are thinking that we are the doers. So this principle is actually more detailed in this description of the Bhagavatam, because it says that if we are bewildered by false ego, we are thinking that what the adhibhautic does, that is we are doing. So the adhibhautic is the gross body, and also our thoughts and whatever is happening in the gross and subtle body is adhibhautic. And now this hand is moving, or I'm grabbing this pen, okay? I'm grabbing the pen, and if I'm now thinking that I am doing this, then I am influenced by false ego. This is according to Bhagavad Gita, because everything is done by the material nature. So the soul, the individual soul, actually has no power to do anything. We are nishaktika, we are without any power. And therefore, with the soul, there is always, Paramatma is always there. Param Atma. And that is absolutely necessary, because without Paramat, oh sorry, what I do, Paramat. Paramatma. Paramatma. Yeah, so we have Paramatma. So Paramatma is always there because we cannot do anything on ourselves. We don't have power. And so the Paramatma is sitting together with the Atma, and whatever the Atma desires, Paramatma will arrange through the material energy. And how he does that in detail? In detail, he will entrust the material energy, the different parts of that material energy to different devas. So like the sun god, the wind god, the fire god, and so on. And they then control our different parts. Like the sun god rules the eye, then Lord Indra rules the hand, sorry my painting, then like Agni Dev, it should be fire, rules the digestive system, then let's say Vayudev, let's just see, let's like this, is ruling our prana, our life force, and so on. So the adhidaivic principle is actually moving our hands, and if in case of Lord Indra, or making our eyesight possible. This is in the case of Lord Suryadev, or making our life, making our vitality flow. That is Vayudev. So the individual self is not the controller of the body, but we are thinking so because of the false ego, because of the ahankara. Because of the ahankara, we are thinking that we are doing what we are actually not doing. Paramatma actually is doing through the material energy, and he manages it through different devas. And and now, how the devas are influencing our body and mind, the science of this is astrology. Ta-da! Astrology. So the astrology will see, like we have the different planets, they are controlling the different bodily functions. Like Mars is about blood, the sun is about the heart, the moon is about the emotions, and so on. I just don't know from top of my mind, just not coming to my mind. But the different planets, they're ruling different parts of our bodies. And also the different zodiacs, they're ruling different parts of our bodies. So accordingly to our chart, we have a certain body and mind. And how this exactly works out for each individual, that is astrology. And the principle of astrology is described here in the Bhagavatam by saying that there is an adhidaivic principle that rules the adhibhautic principle, and there's an adhyātmic principle, the soul, that merely sits there and experiencing this thing. So spiritual emancipation or spiritual liberation is actually self-realization. That means we have to come away from thinking that I am the body, I am the mind, or I am this and that person and so on, and come to our real ego, that we are this spiritual spark, this eternal consciousness, that whose real relationship is the Paramatma. So he's our real friend, he's our real relationship. So that is the Sambandha Gyan I was talking about in the very first video of the series. So this is the short principle I wanted to talk about from the Bhagavatam. Is it not amazing? Everything is there in this book. And thank you so much for listening. See you another time.